Hey guys, we're going to be going over my hard court shoes for tennis and my clay court shoes. I've tried using the same pair of shoes for both surfaces over the last couple years, and then just kind of in the last couple months have decided that I play a lot better if I have a specific pair for hard courts and a specific pair for clay courts, or hard true is what I actually play on. So just going to go through some of the basic things that I've found really have helped to look for when I'm selecting my hard court shoes and my clay court shoes. So I'm going to start with the hard court shoes I'm using right now. On the left, these are the Nike Ballistic 4.3s. You can see I've got a fair amount of toe wear right there, but I've also had these for about a year. So the first thing that I'm going to go over is the durability. Obviously, you're going to be doing a lot of starting, stopping, some jarring movements, and maybe even some dragging. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of durability, or a lot of good surfaces with good materials that'll prevent holes or other types of abrasions from appearing. So these shoes definitely have that. They're bulletproof. They're kind of like tanks. They're definitely heavier in weight to these Yonex shoes, and that's okay. I don't really necessarily feel like I'm weighted down with these shoes at all. So that's kind of number one. Number two would be the support. I don't know if it's the uppers kind of being a little bit more rigid, or the soles just really grabbing my feet really well, but the support of these shoes is phenomenal. And with like the side-to-side movements, forward and backwards movements, and the kind of the direct feel of the hard court, I would recommend definitely kind of making sure that you feel like your shoe is going to support you really, really well. And then lastly is the cushioning. I've done another video where I go over the insoles. I have some Spenco total support insoles in these that I love. You want to make sure that you have a lot of cushioning. You're going to be, jumping up and down, slamming back and forth. You really want to make sure you're cushioned. You've got good socks, and because you don't want to kind of wear anything out on your body. Let your shoes take the brunt of the force on the hard court. So those are kind of the three things that I've really come to appreciate in a good hard court shoe. Moving over to the clay court shoes, these are probably my third pair of clay court specific shoes that I've owned, and they're probably my favorite too. These are the Yonex Power Cushion clay court specific model, and three things that I've really looked for in the clay court model that I would recommend for you to look into too. And they're not as significant, I would say, as the hard court shoe. The first one that I would say is not super important, but you should consider, is the colorway, or the color of the shoes. I play on hard true most of the time, so it's that gray kind of green color court. And no matter what color you have, it seems to kind of stain anything. And especially if you're playing on red clay, which would be even worse, you kind of do have to think about that. And so I really like this, at least the material or the color doesn't really show that. So they still look pretty new. And I've had these for a while. The soles don't really take as much of a beating as my hard court shoes. So I tend to own my clay court shoes for longer. And so that is one thing I like to look at, is the colorway. I don't buy light colored clay court shoes. I like darker colors that aren't going to show those stains. Second is the permeability. I call it permeability. I've had some shoes that I've tried playing on clay before, and whether it's the venting or the mesh allows clay to get in, and it gets annoying. It'll stain your socks, it'll rattle around, and it'll kind of get in your head when you're in the middle of a match, and it's annoying. And these have been really good about keeping clay out, staying lightweight, keeping your socks the original color. And that's one thing I would definitely consider when you're looking at, something to play on clay courts is, will it let clay in? Will it kind of, prevent that barrier from letting that, enter the shoe? So that's number two. Number three is the traction. So, the big thing with clay court shoes is their outsole's different from the hard court shoes. And it's supposed to be designed to, let you spring off into action to go grab, a shot, but also cut loose and slide when you need it to. And these have been great. The pattern on here is not typical of what I've seen on other companies doing clay court specific outsoles. A lot of them use a herringbone pattern, which I've tried before and it works well. This one also works well too. It doesn't cover the arch here, which is a little atypical, but I haven't had any issues with clay building up anywhere. Haven't had any issues with not being able to slide or not being able to take off in time. They've been really, really good, and they're also easy to clean too. Once you wash your shoes at the end of playing, they've been really nice. So yeah, recommend both of these highly. They still are making the power cushion. I think the Ballistic 4.3 as of now October 2016. They've that ballistic's not available, but the beefy Nike I really do like for hard courts. So that's my 2 cents. If you guys have any other advice or specific models that you like for either clay courts or hard courts, feel free to put them below. And thanks for watching.